Welcome back to Your Nerdy Show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. The 5th episode of House of David Season 2 delivers one of the most layered, mysterious, and emotionally charged chapters of the series so far. After the chaos at the Tabernacle last week, the story jumps ahead several months, dropping us straight into a time when the kingdom of Israel is once again under siege by the Philistines. The stakes are higher, the swords sharper, literally, and David faces decisions that could alter the future of Israel forever. Let's dive deep into everything that happens in House of David Season 2, Episode 5, and break down that haunting ending involving the Witch of Endor and Abner's shocking secret. A time skip and a stronger David. When we return to the story, nearly a year has passed since David's legendary defeat of Goliath. The young shepherd who once carried a sling is now a trained soldier, an accomplished leader, and a man starting to embrace his destiny. Thanks to months of relentless training alongside Jonathan, David has transformed from a boy with faith into a warrior with skill and strategy. But despite Israel's progress, the Philistines haven't gone anywhere. They've regrouped, rearmed, and begun launching new raids across the border villages. These battles are relentless, keeping David, Jonathan, and their men constantly on the move. In between clashes, the two friends occasionally share quieter moments, talking about their lost loves, Michael and Sarah. It's a reminder that even as warriors, they're still young men, haunted by what could have been. But just as they begin to reminisce, the sound of war trumpets shatters the calm. A battle that changes everything. Racing back to camp, David immediately takes charge. He gives crisp, strategic orders, and for the first time, we see how his leadership has matured. Everyone obeys, except his older brother Eliab, who still refuses to accept his authority. There's a tense moment when David warns Eliab not to defy him again, showing a new side of David, confident, commanding, and no longer afraid of confrontation. The Israelites fight bravely, but something is off. Their swords are breaking, snapping in half after just 1 or 2 strikes against Philistine blades. It's only because of David's quick thinking that they survive the battle, grabbing weapons dropped by fallen enemies to turn the tide in their favor. When the dust settles, David notices something peculiar about the Philistine swords. They're lighter, stronger, and unlike anything the Israelites have seen before. As he inspects one, he realizes it reminds him of Goliath's weapon, the one he claimed as a trophy a year ago. That sword too had been impossibly strong, and now it seems clear both were forged from the same mysterious metal. The mystery of the God of Swords. Word of these new weapons spreads fast, and soon the matter reaches King Saul's court. Saul, increasingly paranoid and desperate to stay ahead of his enemies, demands answers. His commander, Abner, steps up with a plan. He reveals that Goliath's sword, once stored safely in a priestly city for safekeeping, might hold the key. When Abner examines the weapon, he discovers a small, intricate marker's mark, a symbol belonging to a master swordsmith known only as the God of Swords. According to legend, this craftsman forges the strongest blades in all the lands, but he's also a man shrouded in danger and secrecy. Abner believes this elusive blacksmith resides in the city of Endor, a place infamous for harboring outlaws, heretics, and practitioners of dark magic. Instead of sending an army that might scare the man away, Saul approves a small, specialized expedition. Abner, David, Jonathan, and a few chosen warriors set out for Endor, unaware that this journey will uncover secrets far more personal than they imagine. Tensions in the royal palace. While David and his men march toward Endor, the royal palace at Gibeah becomes a stage for intrigue and heartbreak. Months after her failed attempt to alter the kingdom's laws behind Saul's back, Queen Ahinoam remains isolated. Banished to the far side of the palace, she's lost her influence, her husband's trust, and the warmth of her family. Saul, meanwhile, has taken a new concubine, Keziah, the former servant girl. It's through her that he now prefers to hear updates about his children, completely cutting Ahinoam out of the loop. But Ahinoam isn't done fighting for her place. In a calculated move, she tries to poison Saul's mind by suggesting that David has already replaced him in the hearts of the people. Though Saul brushes off her manipulation, this moment reveals Ahinoam's growing desperation and foreshadows her willingness to use David as a pawn in her quest to regain power. Elsewhere in the palace, her daughters face their own battles of the heart. Michal, the woman David once loved deeply, tries to move on with her life by teaching children. But when her students write stories celebrating David the giant slayer, her old emotions resurface. One day, David visits her, hoping to rekindle their bond, but Michal rejects him. She admits that the heartbreak still lingers and refuses to reopen a wound that hasn't healed. Shortly after, Merab, her elder sister, reminds David about their upcoming arranged marriage. David agrees to speak to the king about it, though his heart clearly lies elsewhere. Michal, forced to congratulate them, hides her pain behind the polite smile. Meanwhile, Joab, the second in command of Israel's army, visits Michal one evening and nearly confesses his feelings for her. His affection adds another layer of tension, creating a quiet but dangerous love triangle within the palace walls. Eshbaal's quiet rebellion. In another corner of the palace, Eshbaal, Saul's son, starts to grow closer to his wife, Dinah. Early in their marriage, Dinah had been distant, rejecting intimacy and emotional connection, but in this episode, she begins to soften. She tells Eshbaal that she distrusts Doeg, Saul's cunning advisor, hinting that Doeg's influence may not be as loyal as the king believes. Eshbaal listens carefully, and it seems this couple might eventually become an unexpected force of unity and reform within the royal family. Journey to Endor. As David, Abner, and Jonathan enter the infamous city of Endor, they disguise themselves as traitors to avoid suspicion. The city is chaotic, filled with thieves, mercenaries, and exiles. But with some careful inquiries, the group manages to locate the god of swords. In his dimly lit workshop, the swordsmith reveals the secret of his unmatched blades, iron. While the Israelites have been relying on copper, the Philistines have mastered ironworking, giving them a huge military advantage. The swordsmith explains how he uses charcoal to heat his forges to higher temperatures, strengthening the metal even further. He admits that he once crafted Goliath's sword for the Philistines, but insists he no longer aids them. However, he refuses to help the Israelites either, claiming he wants to stay neutral and avoid trouble. That's when Abner steps in, and the episode delivers one of its best twists yet. The swordsmith's daughter and Abner's bargain. Abner, ever the strategist, plays his final card. He knows something deeply personal about the swordsmith's past. Years ago, his daughter, Bathsheba, was taken away to serve as a slave in Edom after he failed to pay his debts. Abner promises that if the swordsmith agrees to help forge weapons for Israel, he will use his influence to locate Bathsheba and reunite them. The deal is too tempting to refuse. The god of swords agrees to join their cause, but before the group can leave Endor, things take a dark and supernatural turn. The Witch of Endor. As the party prepares to depart, they're suddenly ambushed by masked figures and dragged into a vast underground cavern. Here, they meet the infamous Witch of Endor, a mysterious seer known across the lands for her forbidden practices and dark magic. The witch speaks to each man individually, revealing fragments of their destinies. When she turns to David, she clearly recognizes who he truly is, the anointed future king of Israel, but chooses to keep that truth hidden from the others. Instead, she warns him cryptically, "Do not live with the one lie that defines your life." The words haunt David as he instantly understands what she means, his love for Michal, the woman he has abandoned to marry another out of duty. But the biggest revelation comes when the witch turns to Abner. In a shocking twist, she reveals that she is his mother. Abner, the king's loyal commander, had once escaped from Endor, leaving behind his family and his mother's world of black magic. The witch calls him out for abandoning his bloodline to serve King Saul, the very man whose downfall is imminent. She then delivers a haunting prophecy. Saul will die a slow, painful death, and Abner will witness it, unable to stop it. Worse yet, she tells him that his own death is near. Abner tries to dismiss her words as nonsense, but the look on his face betrays a flicker of fear. Before releasing the group, the witch tells them she wants no part in their deaths. "Your fates are sealed," she says. "I will not have your blood on my hands." The witch's words echo on the road home. The journey back to Gibeah is a tense one. The men are quiet, each lost in thought. For David, the witch's warning becomes impossible to ignore. He realizes that the lie she spoke of is the compromise he's made, pretending loyalty to Saul's plan for his life while suppressing his true feelings and destiny. When David finally meets Saul in the royal court, he shocks everyone. Instead of agreeing to marry Merab as planned, David outright refuses. He tells Saul that if he cannot marry the woman he loves, Michal, then he won't marry at all. For Saul, this is nothing less than rebellion. To defy the king in public is to risk everything, but David doesn't flinch. The once timid shepherd now stands as a man unafraid of consequences, hinting that the day he reveals his true anointed identity isn't far off. Jonathan and Sarah reunited. Meanwhile, the witch's words stir something inside Jonathan as well. She's forced him to confront the truth of his own heart. On his way back from Endor, he separates from the group and visits Sarah, the sister of Goliath, the woman he once loved but kept at a distance out of guilt and honor. This time, there are no words. Jonathan simply leans in and kisses her. Sarah hesitates for only a moment before returning her affection, revealing that she's loved him too, but was too burdened by her grief to act on it. The two finally give in to their emotions, signaling a new beginning for both and setting up a potentially powerful alliance for the future. The prophecy and what lies ahead. By the end of House of David Season 2, Episode 5, multiple threads are moving toward an explosive convergence. The witch's prophecy has set the tone for the dark, inevitable fall of Saul. Abner's mysterious lineage ties Israel's greatest commander to the dark magic Saul so fears. David's defiance has placed him directly in the king's crosshairs, and his choice to reject the marriage alliance may finally expose him as the true anointed successor to the throne. Meanwhile, the God of Swords' knowledge promises a revolution in Israel's warfare, if he survives long enough to deliver it. But the haunting question remains: how much of what the Witch of Endor foresaw will come true? With betrayal, destiny, and prophecy all in motion, it's clear that this chapter of House of David has set the stage for one of the most dramatic confrontations yet. Our nerdy thoughts. Episode 5 isn't just a political thriller or a biblical drama. It's a turning point that blends war, love, betrayal, and prophecy into a single breathtaking hour. The Witch of Endor's appearance expands the series' mythos into supernatural territory. Abner's true heritage redefines his loyalty, and David's bold refusal marks the moment he begins to walk the path of kingship on his own terms. If this episode is any indication, House of David is about to dive into its darkest and most powerful arc yet.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.